Okay, so the other week I walked into my sister's room and saw this book about rocks and gems laying on her desk. Ever since I was little, I always loved rocks, like not the fancy ones like diamonds and emeralds and stuff like that. Yeah, those are cute and pretty as well, but I always just like the simple, not really expensive stones. The ones everyone just passes over. Anyway, as I was flipping through the pages, do you want to know what I thought to myself as I saw them? I thought to myself, I could really make these into humans. And so that's what we're doing for today. So the first one we're doing is based off of pearls. When I saw the pearl inside the clam, my immediate first thought was protected. And what's more protected than anything else? Children and kings and queens. So I made it into a little princess being protected by her knight. I was only going to just draw her, but I couldn't completely ignore the fact that half of a pearl's identity is being encased by a clamshell for like literally years. I wanted to make the clam knight a handsome young guy, but that wouldn't have made any lick of sense because it takes a long time for clams to form pearls. So the clams usually would be dirty or have barnacles on them. So when I thought of barnacles, I thought of old people. That actually sounds so mean. I don't mean it like that. Anyway, I made the knight an old man because he would have so much knowledge and wisdom from over the many years he's lived. He's also very skilled at fighting, so the king of course chose him to protect his daughter. Maybe he even protected the king when he was little. Okay, backstory time. The reason why she's crying is because Pearl, I know, basic name, but I didn't feel like trying to come up with something better. But Pearl is special. She has powers stronger than anyone in this world, and she can control the pearl, like the actual little stone, aka just the pearl gem, that gives her power. But a new enemy has appeared and is destroying and laying waste entire kingdoms. So new alliances between nations have formed, and they are uniting together to try to defeat the monstrous threat. But to almost no prevail. As time begins to run out and more lives claimed, each ruler is pressed on doing whatever it takes to protect his or her people, even if it means sacrificing others. The child. Use the child. A lone voice passes over all the other voices at the high meeting table. Every king, queen, duchess, and any other person of power stare in shock at the words uttered from Lord Morian, whom y'all will meet in due time. But his gaze was solely on Pearl, whose eyes widened in complete horror. And from that day, alliances were broken and civil wars began. Now, the reason for all the fuss is because whenever Pearl uses her powers, she gets weak and sick. And if she or anyone else uses the stone Pearl too, it will end her. And they once tried to use her powers to fight back the monsters from the enemy, but it nearly ended her life and caused her so much pain, so that now she is completely afraid of ever using her powers, and other nations know that. And so now they're like, well, she's useless. But Lord Morian is the only one brave enough to say what a lot of people are thinking in their head, which is tough luck, let's use a child anyway, even if it gets rid of her, to save not only our own nation, but everyone else's in the entire realm. Now, there are some people that agree with that method, and then there are others who are completely against the idea. They think it is completely immoral to sacrifice a child. They're like, there has to be another way, and we won't stop until we find that way. So everyone's fighting to either get the king to agree to give up his daughter, and then there are others that are fighting to never have him agree to that. Honestly, let me know what y'all would do if you had Fantasy Kingdom in this realm. Would you be on Lord Morian's side or find a way to defeat the monstrous forces a different way? Don't ask me what side I'm on, because this is all too much for me. So this one is based off of Rose Quartz. No, not Rose from Steven Universe. Once I saw it in the book, I already knew this was gonna be one of the first ones I start off with. It's just so beautiful, look at it! Can I first just say how beautiful she looks? Like, I really impressed myself when I drew her. I was like, I made her? She's so freaking pretty, it's not even funny. I'm in love with her pink hair, I'm in love with her skin tone. It's not just a regular black skin tone, it has a reddish pink undertone, so it's so nice. Coloring the lips was like putting on makeup. It was so much fun. And those pink triangle things around her neck are what I thought could be part of her. Like the actual rose quartz rock is growing on her skin and it can turn into her armor. Pretty cool, right? Now, Hyland is another ruler from a far kingdom whom her parents have sent in their stead to represent their kingdom. She is experienced in sword and spear fighting as well as she has her own set of powers. Unlike Pearl though, it doesn't hurt her to use them. Hyland is still very young, but she works overtime to make her parents proud and to become the next queen of their kingdom. She's like in her 20s. She was there at the high meeting when Lord Morian declared to use the small child. She glared at him in disgust. The moment you lay a hand on Princess Pearl is the moment I remove it from your body.
Corny, lame, boo, tomato, I'm throwing tomatoes.
Needless to say, all eyes were on her in shock, but Lord Morian only slowly changed his fear-gripping gaze from Pearl to Hyland. He was very unimpressed, and a slight smile appeared on his face. How I would enjoy seeing you. And yeah, from that moment, the two of them have become enemies. I don't think Hyland's parents had to start a war with fellow kingdom on their to-do list. She's doing her best, the best way she knows how to, okay? Just leave her alone. After seeing someone stand up for her when no one said a word after Morian's idea, Pearl stared at Hyland and marveled at her boldness, and from there on, Hyland became like her second bodyguard whenever she was around her. Pearl saw her as a big sister and one of the only people she trusted, but even still, peace was not something Pearl knew the meaning of in her life. Now, Lord Morian is a smoky quartz, but I sure as crud was not finna call him Smoky. So, just like with Hyland, I looked up other names for smoky quartz and found Morian. I keep saying Morian, it's just so much more natural to me, but Morian. I don't know what came over me, but before I started drawing Lord Smoky, I was so fired up, ready and excited to start his character design because Pearl and Hyland were just so perfect that I naturally and foolishly expected the same results from him. That was criminally not the case. I had the roughest time making him and I despised it. I don't know what went wrong. I just couldn't get myself to fall in love with his character design like I did with Pearl and Rose. But isn't that how it literally always goes with artists? When you're trying to make a masterpiece, it looks like garbage pieces Squidward had to eat to survive. And it's only the times when you're not trying that your Scribble Scrabble turns into Picasso pieces fit for kings. On top of that, I did have work in like an hour or two, so that added rush time made me stress on finishing it before I had to leave. So that contributed to a lot of the problem. My original design for him was to be one of those sassy, low-key Joker type vibes when they never can take anything seriously, even if a gun was pointed at his face. He still laughed because he still has some tricks up his sleeve. I wasn't really feeling his thin and skinny design as much as I did before. I wanted something more menacing but calm, so I made another design but with muscle to him, and I couldn't decide whether or not to give him long or short hair, so I went with a man bun type. I'm so mad at myself because I didn't record the version I went with. It's the best one. It's the one on the thumbnail of this video. You'll see at the end the 3 versions I made and how they compare to each other. The thing is, no one has dared lay a hand on trying to kidnap Pearl except for Lord Morion. And so now he's like the second enemy of the realm, but there are some that see him as a hero, who is fighting to do the hard thing that others don't have the guts to do, and others who see him as a villain. But the thing is, don't let his good intention fool you. He doesn't just want Pearl and the stone to save everyone. He has his own selfish reasons. Once he vanquishes an enemy from the land, he will keep the stone and become the most powerful and only ruler in the realm, and he'll destroy anyone who thinks otherwise. Now, I'm still fleshing out the story, but I'm trying to see if maybe Lord Morion was like friends with Pearl. Well, maybe not friends, but he knew her since she was a baby. He would often come to her parents' kingdom to have meetings with them. You know, basic political diplomat stuff. So naturally she would see him and he would see her. So that's how they come to know each other. Her parents weren't best friends with him, but they were better than they were now in this present time. That's why Pearl was so surprised when Morion suggested sacrificing her, because she was like, I thought we were cool. But yeah, Pearl basically lives in a constant fret of fear. She's like, what was the girl's name? Sadness from Inside Out. She's always worrying, she's always scared, she's always sad because she's always been haunted. Like she could never have a normal childhood like everyone else because they're either trying to use her, they're either trying to get rid of her. It's one or the other. She could never have a childhood like the rest of the little princes and princesses that could have friends and grow up, because unlike them, yes, they still kind of have to worry about that, but not as much as her. She has like her entire realm is like on two separate sides. One, they're trying to fight a main enemy, and then there's a side of, do we use her and it ends up getting rid of her, or do we not use her? Like, it's two separate sides and everyone's fighting each other. People are lying, people are cheating, people are doing all types of stuff. It's a really big war because of her. And yeah, so she's having the best of time right now.